Hi, beautiful souls. My name is Sadhana. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my 40-day restorative yoga challenge. And today I have myself surrounded with props here. I thought we would talk props just for a few minutes. I'm just going to adjust the camera. It looks a little wonky. Let me see here. I'm just going to turn it. So I said in the comments, if you are able to go and get a bolster, if you have yoga blocks, and I'm going to show you here how I made another bolster with a rolled up pillow. So maybe that's a little better. Yeah, so let's talk props. First of all, just a little bit about this challenge. So I am doing a restorative yoga posture every day, one posture every day for 40 days. And some of these postures have multiple parts to them. Today's doesn't. It's just one lovely, juicy posture. And this is day 3. And I'm also offering an inspirational message every day. So so that is what's happening here. It's about a 30-minute video each day. And I hope that you enjoy this journey as much as I already am. This is 4 p.m. on the West Coast, and about 12 hours ago, 3:44 a.m. to be exact, was the full moon energy when it came to its pinnacle. So about 12 hours ago. And also in the teachings of the East, this is the full moon that is dedicated to Buddha. And hence I'm wearing my Buddha tank today. This was, they say, this was the day, this was the full moon where he ascended to the other side, but also this is the day of that he experienced enlightenment. So a pretty special full moon energy on this day. So I'm just wondering how it is going for you. And if you had an opportunity to be out in the full moon, it was very, very intense here last night. So if you haven't enjoyed it, go out and be in it tonight if you, depending on what time it is. So what I have learned through various teachers is that the 72-hour period either side of the full moon carries a very similar energy. Of course, right around its actual pinnacle is the peak of the energy, but it's not too late to fully enjoy it. So I'm going to start today with the card. I've been drawing it at the end the last couple of days, but I just thought I would start with that. This is so perfect. My journey with cards is long and deep, and some of you have been following me on YouTube for a while. But it never fails to amaze me how perfect every single draw is. So this is Anna Turian's deck. This is Oracle Echoes by Anna Turian. And the card that I drew is it's called Shadow Self, which is exactly what the full moon illuminates. And so that is what makes the full moon time very difficult for a lot of people, is because we don't want to look at our stuff. And so this card is a reminder, yes, indeed, we really do need to look at our stuff. And now that the full moon has passed, that energy is still with us, for another 24 hours or so. So continue to be brave enough to go there and to go deep. And so if there's a part of the posture we look at today, a part of the posture that when we move into it today that feels, oh, I don't want to go there, that's not really comfortable for me, then just really go to your breath and do your best to let go and to release into it. And as what I'm going to do, because for this series, I'm so far away from the camera, I can't really show you the cards. I think what I'll do is I will post on my community tab at the end of each week. I'll post the 7 cards for that week, and then I'll write a little description about it. And I think that'll be a nice little share from this session. Medical issues. So if you do have any medical concerns, of course, please listen to your medical team, your medical practitioners, and your inner wisdom. Your inner wisdom is your best tool. So please listen to yourself, breathe and pause and just follow your own guide. And know that I am here. If you need somebody to reach out to and you have questions, you can always comment below in the comments below, or you can message me directly through email, and I'd be happy to reply to you that way. So please look after yourself and know that I'm here to support you. So today we're going to come into a supported reclined posture. And this is actually quite a selfish shape we're doing today. I realized last night when I was in bed that these muscles here, right at the edge of the pectoral muscles, are very, very tight in my body. Were very tight last night. They still are. And so we're going to do a reclined posture to kind of open up those muscles. However, and the connective tissue, I wanted to talk a little bit about props first and just share with you. So yesterday, I mentioned I am not sponsored. I have no affiliation with Half Moon. Their website is shophalfmoon.ca and shophalfmoon.com. So they have a US and a Canadian shop. They're wonderful, wonderful products, and I've used them for years. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I have here on the floor. This is my favorite go-to bolster. I use it for everything. And I'm going to try to create a pseudo one here for those of you that don't have one. These are foam blocks. These are the 3-inch, I believe, or 4-inch foam blocks that they call. Really useful. Like if you are considering purchasing some props for restorative yoga for your relaxing time before you go to bed, or whenever you're going to do your restorative yoga, I would recommend getting a cylindrical bolster and 2 yoga blocks. That would be my minimum kind of recommendation. And perhaps getting a strap as well too. Straps are really, really useful yoga props. Other than that, everything else is an extra. And I'll share with you what else I've got here. These are actually my favorite props. These are the mini cylindrical bolsters, and they're filled with buckwheat, which means they're nice and soft, and they have this real natural feel to them, and they just meld into all your little nooks and crannies. And I love using these for seated postures to place underneath my legs. I use them for everything. So that's mine. Those are some of the props that I have around me. This is a king size pillow that I rolled up. It's a feather king size pillow. And I took a yoga strap and I wrapped the yoga strap around it. And then I fixed the end of the yoga strap with 2 elastic bands. The reason I wanted to try that was to see, and I haven't tested it yet because I haven't quite finished it. I wanted to test it with you live. Because if you don't have a cylindrical bolster, which you need for reclined, relaxing postures where you want to feel like you're in a deeper heart opening so that the pectoral muscles can really get a good stretch. You get a nice massage on the spine. This becomes the support for your back bend. Yesterday, we created a blanket roll, which I have here in my basket. So yesterday I showed you how to create this blanket roll, and I folded the blanket in thirds and then rolled it up nice and tight, and we used this for the posture yesterday. Now this you can use, if you're able to go all the way down to the floor, you could use something like this under your spine as well too. So I'm going to show you what we're creating today, and then I'm going to fix this one up, and we're just going to play a little bit here before we actually get into the shape. So this might be enough for a lot of people. It's probably not quite long enough, so you're going to want to have some kind of a support for your head. So you're creating some kind of a support so that your body is opening up in this direction. These cylindrical bolsters are a little higher, and it can be a very extreme back bend for a lot of people. Like most people who come to restorative who have not been practicing yoga, this is way too extreme for them. So one of the things that I recommend is that this actually comes up. And I have done classes where I have students that have a whole massive Lego underneath here. And the bolster is actually in a position more like this, which requires a lot of support. These foam blocks don't tend to slide. The cork ones are also excellent because they're very solid and heavy. If you have an older bolster, sorry, sometimes language is a hard thing. The older bolsters tend to get a bit saggy, and you're going to need to watch that with your homemade bolster as well too. So let's have a look at this pillow that I rolled up. And what I was thinking is that I would try to tighten it up with a blanket. So just to make it a little more solid, if you get my drift. So, right, because you might want to do yoga with your partner, and you might have one yoga bolster in the house, and then you need to create another one. So my advice is get creative, right? Get creative and make your restorative yoga practice nice and yummy. So, and this is also going to cover up the strap if there's some little knobs on the strap, or I mean, you could wrap in duct tape or anything, right? So this is a lot softer than this bolster. It's also a lot longer. And I brought my tape measure here just so you know what I'm working with. This one is 2 feet, maybe almost 25 inches. And I know they also make a longer one, I believe. So this is kind of sweet, actually. So we're creating something like this, okay? And later on in the series, I'm going to show you a variation where we actually sit on the end of this. And so the longer one is actually really nice for that. But today we're not going to sit on the end of it. We're going to put our bottoms right here. So I'm just going to try this one because I want to know how it feels. Yeah, it's a little too soft. It's a little too soft. But it's okay. You know, it does the job if you're desperate and you need to, or you want to create something while you're, waiting for funds, and because these yoga props are not cheap by any means. So it does the job. So this is the first part of setting up this posture. The other thing that is really nice in this posture is that if you have arm rests, so I want you to think about today's posture. This is reclined Baddha Konasana, restorative reclined Baddha Konasana. Just making sure I've got everything I need here. And sometimes we have to, I just want to show you what this looks like with this up. And you can pull all the pillows off the sofa and play with this, but it's the spine that needs the support in this posture. Oh, that's really nice. So having the back of the bolster up a little bit really kind of helps. And because my intention here is for a really nice opening across the chest. Here's your armchair cushions. And you can use whatever you want for these. Because look here, I want to show you. When my arms come down, well, mine are actually okay. A lot of people are in this funky position. And these arm rests just feel really nice for a lot of people. So that's the arms. So we've got the back that's supported. We have the arms, possibly with an arm rest. And the diamond shape. Let's talk about the diamond shape. Now you can have your legs as far apart as you want, or as close to the body as you want. When you come into Baddha Konasana, that just means the diamond shape. I happen to like language and I love Sanskrit. It just sounds really lovely. And then in a restorative pose, of course, you want to have all your body parts supported. So you can put pillows underneath your knees, underneath your thighs. If you have yoga blocks, you can use yoga blocks. And like we did in the last two postures, you want to work the shoulder blades together. So if you have nothing, get your blanket roll from yesterday and place your blanket roll underneath your spine. Get a couple pillows off your sofa, or 4 or 6 to place underneath your knees. And if you are in a cool room, you also want to cover yourself up with a blanket. So remember that in all of these relaxing postures, the body temperature will drop as you begin to dial down. Okay, so I'm just going to walk you through the sensations of the whole posture, breath, and I might even bring in a little bit of mantra today for you. As always, with the restorative posture, focus on the exhale breath. And if this is quite a deep groin stretch for you, you can have many, many blocks here. So you can create with your Lego enough support so your knees are in a comfortable position. You want a moderate amount of stress, but not so much stress that you are creating tension by resisting the posture. Okay, so you need to support in a way that is in that kind of perfect in between stress level. Okay, so you want a little bit of stress, but not too much. Big inhale breaths. Nice soft exhale. So the other thing too is if this is too much on your lumbar spine, you could also put a blanket underneath your seat, underneath your bottom. So your bottom's a little higher, and that might help with if anything's going on in your low back. So there's so many ways to adjust and make this posture comfortable for everybody. Everybody. I'm turning my palms open to the ceiling. I'm going to lose my arm support because I don't think I want them. This is a more receptive gesture with the hands open. And like we did the last couple of days, walk the shoulder blades nice and close together. And exhale. So there's quite a few things going on in this shape. I spoke a little bit to softening the legs, the groin muscles. You could even take your fingers and just gently, there's a lot of connective tissue here as well too. So you want to stay in this posture for at least, I would say, 6 to 10 minutes. It takes the fascia and the connective tissue a lot longer. And if your muscles are really tight here, your adductors are really tight, you want to be nice and slow. So you might want to start a little higher for maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and then you come down for 4 or 5 minutes. You just really want to take your time with this. Relax your ankles. Keep at least some part of the soles of the feet together. That's an energetic connection. And try not to roll your head around like I'm doing, looking back and forth to the camera. If you tend to make fists because there's a lot of tension in your body, place something on your hands. Okay, so you can take pillows, you can take eye pillows, which is what I use in my yoga class, and just place it on your hands just to encourage your fingers to relax a little bit. Yesterday, I mentioned that I often put my hands in a mudra. So I have the thumb and index together, and then I cycle through each of the fingers. And this mudra just begins to help dial you down. It connects to each of the tattvas, so the earth, water, fire, air, and ether in the body. So it's a really nice way to balance. Then take a big breath in and exhale. Try to relax your hands. And if it's too much, turn your hands over, right? If you feel like you can't relax with your hands up, turn your palms down. So as the body's been in the shape for several minutes, you'll notice that shifts start to happen. And then you can make accommodation for that. So perhaps your low back felt great at the beginning, but now it doesn't feel so good. So the last couple of classes, I talked about the shift of the pelvis. So you may need to reset. You might need to bring your knees up and just do that little pelvic tilt shift that I talked about. So shifting the pelvis forward, just kind of releasing a little bit of tension there and then coming back. Could make all the difference in the world. Or, like I said, you can place a blanket. Just raise up your seat a little bit with a blanket or a small cushion. This is such a wonderful, wonderful posture. Okay, so let's go to the breath awareness and a little bit of mantra. And I can start to introduce the seed sounds for the different chakras. So because the focus here is the heart opening, we're going to focus on the breath in the chest. So become aware of your right lung. Let's start anatomical. Okay, so the anatomical, the physical is easier. The left lung, both lungs, and then start to scan your rib cage. In your mind's eye, see, feel the front rib cage, feel the intercostal muscles, so the connective tissue between the ribs, and feel that expand at the front. Feel it in the back body that is resting on the bolster or the blanket. And of course, you can be all the way down on the floor. You don't have to have something underneath your back. But it does feel pretty amazing when you come out. And then take your awareness to the right side. So where the front rib cage connects to the back rib cage. Can you expand the tissue on the right side of your rib cage as you breathe in? What about the left side? And then go around again, front. Back. Right. Left. And then take your mind's eye right into the very center. Right into the center of the energetic heart space. And see if you can equidistantly, but in a balanced way, expand and contract, expand and soften in all directions at the same time. That might be a lot for the mind. So my intention here is just to deepen your awareness of the breath in the chest. And notice what's happening in your shoulders when you bring awareness to the breath in the chest. Kind of lights up the shoulders. That's pretty cool. So let that go. Come back to the center of the chest and just feel or be aware of the center of the chest, shoulders, arms, and hands. Next time you inhale, draw the inhale breath up toward the shoulders. And then allow the exhale breath to wash down both arms and out the palms or the fingertips. Trace the inhale from the center of the chest up to the shoulders. And then witness the exhale go down the arms and out the palms or the fingers. And just trace that breath a couple more times. And ask yourself on your next exhale, what can you release down your arms and out your palms? Return it to the earth. You can even turn your hands over and quite literally give it to the earth. So I think that's enough information for today. I'm going to leave the mantra for another time. Just kind of enjoy this shape just for a few more breaths. If your groin muscles are getting a little achy, bring your knees up a little higher. Or if you're ready to come out with the legs, you can bring the knees up. And you have the feet wide on the mat and the knees resting into the midline. If you can stay for 11 more breaths. Let go. Check in with your jaw. If there's tension in your jaw, open your mouth. Soften your tongue. So as we prepare to come out of this shape, might have a lot of stuff around you. So to make your way towards Shavasana can take a little bit of mindfulness. So start by guiding your knees together, and you may actually have to take your hands down to your legs and one at a time encourage the knees up. Heel toe the feet out a little bit. Just take your time. And then you're going to need to come off your back support. Okay, so very gently kind of scooch over to the side of your mat. And remove the bolster, remove all of your props. And then come down onto your back. Start with your feet wide on the mat and rest your knees together. It's kind of a shocking experience, actually. It feels like coming down from really, really high, and only we've come down just a few inches. Big exhale breath. If you feel ready to extend your legs into Shavasana, and we'll just stay here for a few breaths. And then I'll come up and chit chat with you. So please feel free to stay in Shavasana, and you can listen to me from this shape. If you're ready to come up, you can bring the soles of the feet to the floor, the knees into the chest, and gently rock side to side. And when you feel ready, you can come to a side and pause in that fetal position if you like for a few moments, and then make your way up to your seat. Okay. So, how was that? Supta Baddha Konasana, so reclined, supported, bound ankle pose. The diamond, that refers to the diamond shape in your feet, is just a wonderful shape to get into. But some of you today might have not had the right props to set that up. So I encourage you to get really creative with the items that you have in your home. And the contraption that I made here was a little bit soft. So you want to try to make it a little denser. So perhaps wrapping up and building on the blanket roll you made yesterday. So making this a little bigger by wrapping this up with blankets rather than using a pillow. The pillow was a little bit soft. And then you'll have something to place underneath your spine. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. And I will be back on YouTube in about an hour, I think, for my tarot talk. So stay well, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Namaste.